Welcome guys to another kata on codewars. Today we're going to solve in a 6Q kata, which is equal sides of an array. I'll rapidly read it so that we can get to understand it. You are going to be given an array of integers. Your job is to take that array and find an index n, where the sum of the integers to the left is equal to the sum of the integers to the right. If there is no index, that will make this happen. Return -1. Basically, let's learn from example. Now this is the input array. The answer is supposed to be 3. Now why 3? Because if you look at the array properly, if we're at index 3, we have the figure 4. The sum of the elements of the right is equal to the sum of the element on the left. That is why we have to return 3 here. Now let's look at another example, which is this one. Your function is to return index 1. Index 1, we have 100 at index 1 here. And the sum of the elements at the left of 100 is 1. And the same thing at the right is 1. The sum of all these 4 figures gives 1. Okay. The last example, this. We have to return 0. Why 0? Because if you look at who is at index 0 is 20. At the right of index 0, all of those figures sum up to 0. I think so. Yeah. And everything to the left of 20 is automatically 0. Okay, I think we can start getting the point. So what am I going to do? I'll have to put this in comments so that you can understand what I'm going to code. Okay, imagine that we had an array, like an input array of 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to create a group of pairs from the initial input. That is what I'm trying to do right now. I'm going to create pairs that is going to say what's on the left and what's on the right. Let's take the first number, for example, it's 2. What's on the left of 2? The sum is 0. And on the right of 2, the sum is 8. Let's continue. What's on the for 3? What's on the left of 3 is 2. And on the right of 3, we have the sum is 5. Let's continue. For the last number here is 5. Now at the left of 5, it sums up to 5, and at the right of 5, it sums up to 0. So I'm going to construct an array like this from the input array, so that I'm going to see whose pair gives the same number. That should be the case for this array here. This first example. So when we arrive at the middle index 3, we'll notice that the pair will be 6 on one side, 6 on the other side. So I'll try to construct that pair, and from there we're going to move on. So I'm going to call this my construct pairs. So my construct pairs, you can notice the first element automatically has 0 as first entry. So this is my construction pairs. Now I'm going to automatically insert the first element. Now the first element is 0 automatically, comma, followed by the sum of the rest. And how do I get that? I can filter the array. So I can filter the array. Which are the values of the filter? We have we have value and the index. So I can filter the array such that it's going to return just the values whose index is different from 0. So it's going to filter the rest. And when it filters, I'm going to have the sum. So I'm going to do the sum with the reduce function. reduce has an accumulator and a number. So it's going to return the accumulator plus the
6 o'clock
plus the number n. Sorry about that. So if I console.log that, you can have an idea of what it's going on here. Okay. Right, so we can see the first pair is there, 0, 15. So I just constructed something like this. Now is 0, 15 for this first test case. If you sum all these numbers, it's going to give 15. That's it. That is why we have the first pair. So now I'm going to loop through the rest of the array and keep constructing the other pairs. So I have my for loop. Well, I've already treated the first example for index 0, so I is going to start at 1, and y I is less than array of length -1. -1 means I'm going to stop at the second to the last. Why? Because the last value also has a same treatment as the first one. You can see that the last number is automatically 0 because when you arrive the last number, you cannot sum what's after that, so it's automatically 0. I'm going to do something like that at the end of the loop, but right now I'm going to loop from the beginning to last but 1. That is why I end at array of length -1. So what do we get? So anytime I arrive at a particular index, I represents our index here. All right, so I'm going to get the sum of the left side. So let's call this left side. What will be the left side? The left side will be the array filtered. So I have the value and the index. I'm going to filter the array such that I'll return everything whose index is less than I. That will be the left side, and then I'm going to apply this reduce function to get the sum of the left side. I'll just copy paste. That's it, and I'm going to do the same for the right side. So basically as I'm moving ahead, I'm filtering the left and the right side and summing. Now for the right side, everything that is greater than I is the right side, and I automatically do the sum. And when I've done that, I'm going to add it to our pair, const pairs. I'm going to push our sub array, which is made up of the left side and the right side. I hope I have. Now right side doesn't exist. This is the right side. At the end of the loop, I'm going to display what const pairs actually looks like right now, so that you can have a picture of what we've been constructing so far. Reference I is not defined. We should have a problem somewhere. We have to debug the code. What's the problem? Find index. I think I have my I defined here on line 10. Doesn't seem to get the error right now. Okay. Now I have to comment all of this so that I can debug the problem. Okay, I'll just console.log I to be sure that we're on the same page. I is not defined. This is so confusing. This is crazy. Okay. All right. I'm going to start the for loop. Little space. Find even index. Okay, let's comment everything. It's kind of confusing right now. Let's log again. Okay, we have no error, so I might be doing that for loop very badly. Let's just do it again. So I starts at oh, I see the error right now. Okay, sorry about that. So we said I starts at I starts at 1. You can see line 10. This was the confusion here. I starts at 1. Okay. Okay, why I is less than. So let's get back to where we were before that break. Okay, so this is our array of the different pairs. This is at index 0. The sum of the left is 0, sum of the right is 15, and then this is the first display here. I can comment this, and let's launch again. All right, this is the left and right sum for the first index, left and right sum from index 1, and you get the logic. So right now we're going to add the pair for the last element here. So we're going to, this is the last element here, let's call it the last. It's the array filter. We'll filter the array. We have the value and the index, so we're going to filter and collect everything whose index is less than the last index, and the last index is array.length -1. We can say less than, or we can say different from. Okay, and then we can get the sum of the array resulting from that filtering. Right, and then we'll push the last pair to our constitution of pairs. Let's call it that way. It's also a sub array made up of the last sum and 0, and then we can console log it again to see the last. So from this first example, the last pair was 13 and 1, so we should have a final one there. Yeah, that's it, 15 and 0. It's very logic. It should be the opposite of 0, 15. So we can see that we can have a pair here that is 6, 6. That is actually the index we have to return. So 6, 6 is at index 0, 1, 2, 3. So the element at index 3 is the element of our original array, which is here. That is the element whose sum of the left and sum of the right side is exactly the same. So what shall we do? You get the logic. We shall now, I will filter this constitution of pairs, this array, and remain just with pairs whose left and right side are equal. So I'll say constitution of pairs. Now I'm going to make it to be let me put it in a sub answer. Why did I say sub answer? Because we can see I'm trying to look for a better example. Okay, let's go to the exercise. There is a condition on the exercise that said if you are given an array with multiple answers, return the lowest correct index. What does that mean? It means here we have 6 6. Let's imagine that we also had 13 and 13 here. That means we have two answers with left and right side equal, so we'll return the one with the lowest index, which is 6 and 6. That is why I'm doing the filtering, which is I call it sub answer because it can have multiple answers, so one of the answers will be there. So sub answers will be the constitution of pairs that is filtered such that we have a pair. We have a pair whose left side as index 0 is equal to the right side as index 1. That's it. And once it's filtered, we'll have a sub array, and the first element of that array is going to be the one with the lowest index. Like here we have just 6 6, so there won't be a problem. Let me console log it. So our sub answers is going to look like this. We have 6 and 6. Here we have 1 and 1. Here we have 60 and 60. Now if we reach a scenario where there were more than one pair, the first one will be the one with the lowest index. Let's take note. So how do I get our final answer? Let me display again our constitution of pairs so that you can see. Now this 6 6 is at index 3. Now it's at index 3. It means the index 3 of array, the original array, is where the number with equaling left and right side exists, which is the same thing with the constitution of pairs. And the constitution of pairs, this is it that is displayed here. It's also at index 3. So remember our sub answer. This is our sub answer below here. Is 6 and 6 here. Now all we need to do is search for the position of sub answers inside the constitution of pairs. You can see that it's at index 3. So what shall we do? We shall return inside the constitution of pairs, const pairs, we shall return the index of our sub answers. Of 0, the first element of the sub answers. Remember here is just 6 and 6. We can have another pair that also have the same left and right side, so we'll return the one with the lowest index, which is the first 0. Okay, and let's run our algorithm. Right, we got it. I'm going to comment our console logs and run the final attempt. Right, we're passing every test except the last one. I don't know why. If just one test is failing, then we are going to know why. all we need to do is console log the original array that was given so that we can see what it looks like, the filling one. This is the original array. Okay, the original array is 8. It means it's just an array with one integer. What can we say about this? Now with one integer, you can agree with me that it automatically becomes the pivot, and the left side of that number is 0 and the right side is 0 equally. So we can just do one condition to handle that and will be great. So what's that? It means if the array's length is just made up of one element, no need to loop through all those things, we just return 0. Okay, now let's run. Crazy. I just press byte. Okay, let's run again. Oops, it's equal to. All right, attempt. Right, ladies and gentlemen, the code looks complex, but when you get the logic of the explanation below, you see it's very simple. It's made up of a lot of filters and videos. That's basically the code. And thanks for watching, and you can write on the comments anything that was useful to optimize the code. We can just submit and see what's done by other people. Submit. All right, we're waiting on codewars. Okay, what do we have? This is the left side and this is the right side. I can't say I'm really understanding that. Okay, let's move to another example. This is very short. Crazy. It's actually the same thing we've done, just written in a short manner. I'm trying to break through with something that you can understand. And this is for the first element. It starts with 0, and the right element you filter and reduce. I think all the examples are in the same logic of what we wrote, just different approaches, or more compact way of writing. I get the idea. All right, thanks for watching, and see you on another video with another kata.